Hey there, folks. Greg Shepard here, S&A Financial Services. I specialize in helping folks basically coast to coast simplify, uncomplicate those oftentimes confusing higher ed retirement plans, typically circling around TIAA. Okay, so it's the end of the day. Just spoke to somebody through Zoom. Um, Not a client, but a prospect, dove into this person's retirement plan. And the topic at hand is myTRACs. Okay, so the reason I'm giving this information out is not only this individual, but others have contacted me as well, asking me what is this myTRACs? What's going on? Give me some information on this. There wasn't enough folks asking for me really to create a video on it until now. Okay, so here's what's going on. I did a little research on it, and from this point forward, this is my opinion, my 2 cents. I have not contacted TIAA in this regard. I might in the future, but it's almost irrelevant. So, okay, I'm going to answer the question. In my opinion, is it good? Is it bad? And give you some details as to what's going on. Excuse me. Okay, so let's start with the inception of these life cycle funds. Excuse me. So I'm not redoing this video. It's the end of the day. I want to go home. Okay, so these life cycle funds were good in concept, in theory, incepted years ago, mainly for those that really set it and forget it and want to do nothing with their retirement plan. There's a lot of those people out there. They dump money in. In the past, prior to life cycle funds, they would go to cash, money market. Folks would leave it in there for 15 years and earn whatever, 0.5% a year. So the marketplace incepted these life cycle funds, which is good for those that don't want active participant in their retirement plan. So for those that just ignored it, it went to these life cycle funds instead of cash and grew over time, right? So that's good, right? So here we are, 2024, in TIAA's platform, the life cycle funds, in some of your plans, some of your plans have morphed into these myTRACs, okay? Costs are good for myTRACs. They were pretty good for a lot of these life cycle funds as well. So the costs are good. Now, what's the difference? Here's the glaring difference. The life cycle funds were made up of a myriad of mutual funds, okay, which is fine. That's perfectly fine. The myTRACs portfolio is made up of, I've seen Vanguard Real Estate in there, Nuveen Products, which is part of TIAA now, and like TIAA, maybe, CREF, like Equity Index or the stock, I can't recall right now. That's public information. That's neither here nor there. So lesser amount of investments in there, which is fine, with the addition of TIAA traditional. Did you catch me there? So the life cycle funds didn't have traditional in it. myTRACs does. So now you're mandated, if you're in myTRACs, to be inside traditional. Now let's dig a little deeper. So like the lady I just spoke to through Zoom, through her higher ed institution, she has a 401a, which a lot of you do out there as well, comprised of two accounts, liquid and illiquid. So in this instance, we had an RC and RCP or GSRA, I can't recall, but it's liquid. It was liquid, okay? And usually that's synonymous with the employer putting money into the illiquid and you fully putting money into the liquid. Hopefully I said that right. Employer illiquid, you liquid, typically in higher ed institutions. Okay, so the myTRACs is afforded to you in the liquid contract, in the RCP in this case, but not the RC inside the 401a. Why is this? I have my thoughts. I'm sure it's probably pretty accurate. Remember, traditional is inside the myTRACs. Traditional inside an illiquid contract is just that. It is illiquid. So what happens if you're an employee and you have these myTRACs inside an illiquid contract like an RC? What do you do with that traditional? Okay, if you just default to the myTRACs because you want nothing to do with it, set it and forget it. Sometimes ignorance is bliss, but you find yourself 15 years down the road and you got an illiquid portion of the myTRACs. So TIAA recognized that, of course, and said, well, we're not opening that can of worms. So we're not going to have myTRACs inside an illiquid contract, which is an RC. Now, if you find out there that your situation is different, by all means, contact me. But this is what I found. I think 3 participants. myTRACs not afforded on the RC, which is illiquid. Yes, on the liquid, which is the RCP. Okay, so to the question, is it good? I think it's good for those that set it and forget it, that mantra. But if you found me on YouTube, my guess is that you do care more than those folks, and you're looking to actively research your plan. So in that regard, I Not investment advice, my opinion. I think you can do better. Okay. And I'll leave it at that. So it has some international exposure too in the myTRACs. So for each client that has reached out to me regarding the myTRACs, all I did is simply put together a mock portfolio given their choices, and by all measures, again, nothing's guaranteed, not even traditional for the most part. Okay, it's another video. They were more efficient portfolio. So you can create a more efficient portfolio outside of the myTRACs. That's my opinion, not investment advice. Maybe your opinion differs. Okay, so that's a little tidbit of information on the myTRACs. I can't think of anything else off the top of my head regarding that topic. Oh, one thing, I guess you have to opt out. So what I found is that if you do morph over to like Lifecycle to myTRACs, you have to physically opt out online, or I'm sure you can call them, in order to not participate in that. Okay, the myTRACs. But they're just taking over the Lifecycle Funds. All right, that's enough. I'm hemming and hawing now. I'm getting out of here. Greg Shepard, S&A Financial Services. Hey, if you want a review of your situation, maybe if you're with the myTRACs, by all means, contact information should be below. All right, folks, I'm out of here. Greg Shepard, S&A. Have a good one. Bye-bye.